I want to have fun, I want to help people, and I want to kill mobs. And that's basically the extent of it. I've been playing on a private World of Warcraft server, and I want to talk about it because I've been kind of surprised and I've been enjoying it. Hi, I'm Linkard. Welcome to Linkard Online. So I don't have any experience with World of Warcraft, and what I mean by that is I haven't played it, but I weirdly kind of have an attachment to it. So when I was young, I played MMORPGs for a long time. At 10 years old, I'd play this thing called Fiesta Online, maybe actually 9. And now that I've actually played on a World of Warcraft private server, I'm realizing just how much of the like class gameplay, games like Fiesta Online basically heavily borrowed from World of Warcraft. That's the case for every MMO, but I'm realizing it more now. But I liked certain things about Fiesta Online, and I'm gonna say this now, I like the kind of priest gameplay. I like healing people, I like hitting monsters, but being less good at hitting monsters than I am at healing people. I like resurrecting people. I like to be the person in the group that is basically supporting everyone, if that makes any sense. And that's how I engaged with MMORPGs for a long time. I eventually moved on to Rift when I was 12, 13, and I had a guild in Rift. If you don't know, it's an MMORPG that wanted to be a WoW killer, and that's kind of first of its many mistakes. But Rift is a genuinely good game. It's a very good game. I installed it recently, and I actually could see myself playing it. It's just like very, very, very dead. But it had this system where you had rifts popping up in the world, and they were like portals that would spawn in monsters, and you had to close them. And they were things like events where like a ton of rifts would spawn in a certain map, and then if you beat all the monsters that those rifts brought about, it would spawn like a world boss, and then you beat it and you get certain rewards. It was very cool. I had a guild. I loved doing events with that guild. Like I would tell them like, hey, who doesn't have this mount that you would get through an event? Let's make sure everyone got it. And then we would go as a group, do certain events. It was fun. I liked engaging in the social aspect of MMOs. And the thing, that's not actually how I planned out the script, but I'm gonna get into it now. The thing that kind of bothers me with modern MMOs, and I hear a lot of this about retail World of Warcraft, is that you don't actually need to engage with anyone, especially in the leveling. Like when you go from low level to high level, like level 1 to level 60, for example, in classic World of Warcraft, you don't need to interact with anyone because it's just like very, very easy. Like not in classic World of Warcraft, but in retail, from everything I've seen, it's just you kind of blow through it. And I've noticed that in other MMOs where the game is too easy. Like at a low level, you level up very fast and the enemies fall very quickly. You kill them very quickly. And it makes sense from like a developer's perspective. You want people to level up quickly. You want them to feel like they're progressing quickly. But the problem with it is when a game is too easy, you just don't have to engage with its gameplay elements. Like, if you can kill enemies quickly, you don't need to figure out what your skills do, if that makes any sense. Like if there's like a spider that I need to kill 6 of for a quest at level 2, and I kill those spiders in like 2 or 3 hits, I don't need to engage with what my skills actually do. But if 3 of them attack me and I can die from that, I'm going to be a lot more careful. I'm going to read my skills. I'm going to engage with the game in a different way. Like if you can die, you will be a lot more careful with how you approach the game. And that's what I've been liking a lot with the private server I've been playing on. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So why have I never played World of Warcraft? Subscription. It's the subscription fee. My parents just there was no chance they would let me play a game that I had to pay $60 up front and $15 a month, just euros in this case. But there was just absolutely no way. So it's not even an option that I thought about. But I watched a lot of videos on a website called jeuxvideo.com, videogames.com. It's a French website where there were at the time a lot of people who made videos. This was before YouTube, and so this website would actually like it wasn't strictly before YouTube, but it was before YouTube became as much of a household name as it is now. And so in like 2011, 2012, this website jeuxvideo.com would pay people to make videos like every week, for example. And there were a bunch of different ones. There's one that was a 36 15 Usul, which there's other personalities that made videos on this website, and a lot of them became like big figures. A lot of them, that's how they got their big start. And one of them, he's called Joueur du Grenier, and he's a huge video game Twitch streamer and YouTuber in France. Very, very, very big. And at the time, kind of on the tail end of that era of jeuxvideo.com, having people making videos for them on that website, hosted on that website, on the tail end of that era, Joueur du Grenier made a series of videos about MMORPGs, I believe. If it wasn't from that, and you know what I'm talking about, please let me know. But there was someone on that website who talked about World of Warcraft, and it amazed me. Like, it really, really amazed me. I remember it was in the time of Mist of Pandaria, and they made videos about World of Warcraft, and they organized, actually it wasn't Joueur du Grenier now that I'm thinking about it, but they would show videos of huge races. Like, they would organize, for example, races where people just started at a certain area of the map and would just run and do a race and just run. And I love that. Like, that's kind of what inspired me in Rift, in the MMORPG Rift, to make a guild and do events. Is I love this. I love this interactivity. And so I've always wanted to try WoW, but from what I've seen of how retail WoW was, and especially how with retail WoW, if you want to visit like old locations because you don't like the new ones and the new expansion's pretty empty. So I was like, I'm just never gonna experience the like World of Warcraft that I got to see grow a little bit like when I was younger. But then I found, I don't know, like two days ago, for some reason I had my yearly like, I wonder if I can play World of Warcraft, but I don't want to pay a subscription because that's gonna stress me out. And I found TurtleWOW, and I found it in the perfect time, because there's going to be a new server tomorrow, maybe today, at time of posting, and there has been a new patch. So basically they made an update to the game, and every time, I didn't know this, but every time they do an update to the game, they limit the wiki, or they don't update it, that's it. And this time I tried to visit the wiki for TurtleWOW because I was like, hey, I wonder like what spells priests have like available to them, because I want to play a human priest, I think, in this new expansion, because I heard the human starting location was great. And so I visit the wiki, and it's down, but there's a message, and they say like, as always, we don't update the wiki with patches to kind of have like a sense of mystery, kind of like if you were playing World of Warcraft when it first came out. And because this patch is so big, they just outright like deleted the wiki for a little bit, and they're like, we're not gonna have the wiki for a little bit, just enjoy this patch and then we'll put it back online. And so I'm thinking, oh, this is great. This is absolutely awesome. I can just practice a little bit, start a new character for like a couple days, and when the new server Embershire is live again, as time of posting probably today, I can start a human priest. And so that's what I've been doing. I downloaded TurtleWOW, which is again a private server, and I didn't actually explain what it does. A private server is basically a version of a game where it's not the official game, and it has to be different and not require you to pay money to play it, because otherwise that'd be pretty illegal. But they have to do something different in order to be considered a private server. And here, TurtleWOW is very different from vanilla WoW. They have a lot of new things. For example, they have new races in both the Alliance and the Hordes. In the Horde, they have goblins, and in the Alliance, they have high elves. They have different race and class combinations from classic World of Warcraft. They have things like new zones, new enemies, new lore, but they try to stay as lore accurate as possible, because at first actually it was a big RP private server from what I understand, and they just have a lot of new things. But the old vanilla World of Warcraft zones, for example, don't seem to be outdated. And so I'm going to talk about it more. But what surprised me was the amount of people playing at the same time as me in like the very, very starting location. All right, so let's get into it. I really, 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 really enjoy TurtleWOW so far, and I'm gonna say a lot of why. So first, the character that I play a blood elf, I believe. No, a dark elf in the Alliance. And I play a druid because I want to shapeshift, and from what I understand, druids can shapeshift. And actually, a thing about druids that I didn't know is they have buffs that they can administer to themselves and other people, which I'm very happy about, because I love buffing other people. I love to put buffs on other people and heal them. And so far, the druid has played a lot like how I would play priests in Fiesta Online. So I'm very happy about that. I'm gonna talk about a little bit about how I play the game. I don't like railroading. What I mean by that is I don't like how in mobile games and in a lot of modern MMOs, you don't have to think about what you're doing. I like to actually engage with the game, and if I get a quest that's like kill 6 boars, I don't want to have a big ass arrow just telling me, oh, here's the boar, here's the boar, here's the boar, and just not have to think about it. I don't want to have like an auto walk to the objective button. I don't like that. I want to engage with the game world. That being said, vanilla World of Warcraft goes a little bit far with this. And so in TurtleWOW, without any add-ons, but add-ons are super easy to add, like stupid easy. I'm gonna talk about that. And if you don't have any add-ons, like you will take a quest and it's gonna be like kill 6 boars, and you're gonna not understand what you're supposed to do, because if you look at your map, there's no indicators. Like there's just global area indicators to tell you globally where cities and areas are, but you're not gonna have like a quest indicator by default on your map. So you're gonna grab a quest, kill 6 boars, you're not gonna know where the hell to go. And so this is kind of where, because keep in mind, the wiki is down as of right now. Like you can't go on the wiki and be like, hey, where is the enemy that I need to kill for this? So what I did is I downloaded an add-on called PF Quests. And the way this works is TurtleWOW has a launcher, and it has an add-on tab. And in this add-on tab, there's a lot of add-ons, like maybe 20 to 40 that are included by default. It's very easy to add an add-on that you find online, but there's also like 20 to 40 add-ons that I guess TurtleWOW recommends to people. And there's also mods which help with lag and graphics. I really, 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 really enjoy the fact that they did this. And so I watched a couple videos about TurtleWOW. I knew that there was an add-on to make quests a bit easier, so I downloaded it. And as soon as I downloaded it, there was a welcome screen. I kind of configured it, and by default, it had like a big fat arrow to show me where the quests are, and I took it off. I basically went into the mod options and I was like, I took it off. This mod, this add-on allows you to, if you put it in the most minimal settings, it tells you the global areas where things are, and it tells you for quests where someone is like, hey, bring me this item, and the item is dropped by an enemy. It both tells you kind of the global area where the enemy is and the drop rates for the item that you need. So why that's awesome is, if I didn't have this add-on and I had an idea of what enemies dropped an item, I might go to that enemy, kill it, and then it doesn't drop the item, and then I go to another enemy because I think that enemy doesn't drop the item, when in reality I just hit the 20% chance that that enemy didn't drop the item, but I just need to kill more for the item to drop. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but why like this add-on is absolutely amazing is because it's not railroading me. It's not putting like an arrow, a green arrow of where I need to go to like kill the enemies that I need to kill for quests, but it's also just not giving me any information. It's giving me just enough information, the global area where the enemies are and the enemies I need to kill for certain items, for me to be able to really engage with the game. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but this combination of like the hardcore nature of classic WoW and the add-on that makes it a tiny bit easier is really helping me in really engaging with the game and not be just overwhelmed because this dude told me to kill boars and I have no idea where they are and the wiki is down, so I can't do anything. I'm gonna talk about progression. Progression in classic WoW is something I've been enjoying because it's very slow. And in my notes I wrote, it's very slow and you can die. And I'm going to talk about what I mean. So first, about how slow it is. In modern games, we've gotten to the point where things need to go faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. You need to gain levels quickly in an MMO when you first boot it up, because that's going to make you want to keep playing. You don't want to feel weak for like 2 hours, and you get things automatically, and you just, everything goes by very fast. That's not the case in TurtleWOW. In TurtleWOW, first of all, you walk everywhere. There's no flying mounts apart from like at a couple areas in the map, but nowhere near where I am right now. And you can only fly them for 30 seconds. So like there's no flying mounts, and there are mounts, but I'm not close to getting one yet. And so you walk everywhere, and there is a real sense of scale. And that's one of the reasons why I loved games like Death Stranding, because the map is not very big. In and of itself, the Death Stranding map is very small, which actually I have a video talking about that, because I was kind of enraged when I saw that like there was so much misinformation about the map size. I'm a fucking nerd. I don't know why that would make me mad, but it does, okay? And so I measured the map size of Death Stranding to show like it's actually pretty small. But that's one thing I love about the game, because when you play it, it feels big because of how it's done and how it's made. And that's kind of the case with TurtleWOW, or with World of Warcraft Classic, is because you have to run everywhere, and because it takes time to actually go to the quest givers, go to the mobs, kill the mobs, go back to the quest givers, or if you want to travel from one city to another, you do things with purpose. You don't you might zone out, but you still stay concentrated, because there also might be mobs along the routes that you take that could genuinely kill you, even if they're the same level as you. If they're one level above you, if there's two of them that attack you, you're dead. So you kind of engage with the game. And because of this, because of the slow progression, you walk and walk in an area that slowly becomes familiar. The progression is slow also in other ways. You don't get skills automatically. Like, you don't get attack skills, healing skills automatically. it's similar to how it was in Fiesta Online that I played when I was younger. I'm gonna tell you a funny story. When I played Fiesta Online, it was a game like World of Warcraft. I'm pretty sure they copied this directly from them, where when you had a class, you needed to buy spells from that class from an NPC in the game. But when I was 9, I didn't know that. And so I played until like level 12. And I remember I was in like a sand map. And it's like this beach map. And I was level 12. I was an archer and I was just shooting arrows. Just shooting straight arrows. Just that's it. And I was playing with someone and they were like, hey, yeah, that's cool. And we were talking. They were like, yeah, cool. But what other skills do you have? And I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, do you have like other skills? And I was like, oh shit. and then I discovered that there's an NPC that actually gave me like a lot more things to do in the game than shooting arrows. And my 9-year-old brain was like blown, you know? And in modern MMOs, that's something I haven't had to do. Like in Rift, I'm pretty sure I just got skills automatically. But in classic WoW, you have to buy your skills from a druid trainer, and the druid trainer in the first area of the game for dark elves, it is in this huge tower, and you have to walk like a full minute to just get to it, which is annoying, but like I kind of enjoy, because now I'm thinking like, okay, I'm killing mobs and doing quests, I'm waiting to rise a couple levels, and then I'm gonna visit the druid trainer to see what skills I can have, and then I'm gonna get those skills, and they're not skills that I automatically got just, you know, in my spell book. I didn't get them automatically, and so I'm buying them. I have to read them, you know. I'm being a lot more purposeful. I'm engaging with the game a lot more because it's so slow, and because I have to engage with it. It's actually like slowing me down in a way. I'm not scrolling frantically. I'm walking from one place to another. It might take 2 minutes, and then I'm visiting an NPC that gives me spells that's gonna take like at least 30 seconds to 60 seconds to read the spells. I don't want to repeat myself, but basically like the game forces you to go at its own pace, which I really like. And also, you can and you will die, because in this game, if a mob is at your level and like 3 of them gang up on you, they're probably gonna kill you. And if a mob is 2 levels above you, they're probably gonna kill you if you're not paying attention. And if 2 of them gang up on you, you're absolutely done for, depending on your class. And so I died a lot, and at some point, like if you die too many times, you have to wait to be able to resuscitate. And I like that, because then not only is the game slow, getting to an area where I need to do a quest is slow, but then if I'm not paying attention, I'm gonna die, and then it's gonna waste a lot more of my time, because in World of Warcraft, your spirit has to go to your corpse to revive you. But now, like if I die 3 times, I'm gonna have to wait. I'm gonna have to let my spirit go to my corpse. I'm gonna have to manually do that, and then I'm gonna have to wait like 60 seconds extra to be able to revive. And so yeah, I'm not gonna say more about that. I really like that. I'm reading my notes. Slow travel takes time to go anywhere. I talked about that. It seems like there's a cool community. It's kind of incredible, because TurtleWOW is not a new private server from what I understand, but when I first heard about it and I went on YouTube, there was a new player guide posted the day before, which is insane, and a lot more videos posted the day before or 2 days before. Listen, I'm a huge proponent of kind of leaving the mindset of a video needs to be like a week old and not more, and not older, in order for you to watch it. A lot of videos on YouTube are older, are like years old, and they're fine to watch now. I'm a huge proponent of that. But for private servers and just games in general that change a lot, where there's updates and stuff, it's really nice to have new videos to watch for new players, to make sure that the things are up to date. Because with TurtleWOW, I've noticed that like some videos can have like, you know, if they're 3 months old and there was a patch in between, some things can be not up to date. But generally, we're talking about a private server for a 20-year-old game. So you're gonna be fine if you watch like a 4-month-old video, generally speaking. But there's a lot of new videos, and generally it seems like the community is pretty great. One thing about that is they're not paying a monthly subscription, so people are more chill. From what I've heard of, for things like raiding and dungeons, people are not gonna require you to have a certain build or a certain gear to be able to even like consider taking you in for the dungeon or raid. People are pretty chill about that, which I enjoy, because I don't want to play an MMO the way that everyone is playing it. Maybe like I don't want to play the best way to play an MMO. I want to discover a lot of TurtleWOW, so I haven't watched a leveling guide, because I want to like just figure out a build, and then if I need help, look at a build online. But I don't want to take the best build, because the best build for a class is the build that brings the most enjoyment to me. I don't care about like how much, if I'm maximizing my healing or maximizing my DPS. I want to have fun, I want to help people, and I want to kill mobs, and that's basically the extent of it. And it seems that TurtleWOW is pretty good about that. There is some toxicity I've noticed on the forums, even from like mods and things like this. It's pretty weird messages, but I'm not gonna engage with that, and I'm just gonna be sociable with people. And kind of one thing I want to say, you can't talk in TurtleWOW until you've hit level 10 if you don't have a high level character, from what I understand. I think that's pretty dumb. I think that's really, really, really dumb, because and I've seen this on Reddit. People said like they like it because new players don't ask dumb questions in /world, which is basically the global chat that everyone can see. And I understand that, but then my immediate rebuttal is, why would you not just limit new players, new level ones, to /say? Basically, there's like different levels of talking in World of Warcraft and in MMOs in general. /say is a pop-up bubble, a text bubble that comes up above your head, and that is viewable by everyone around you in your direct vicinity. There's /yell, and the text is displayed in red for people in the general zone, but like people still not that far from you. And then there's /for, like /world and other chats where people can see what you type even if they're in a different map. And I don't understand why they limit you to not say anything until level 10. I don't understand why I can't say things in /say, because that doesn't impact people in the global world chat. And it means that if I'm stuck or if I want to group up with someone else, I can't talk to them. I can't talk to them at all. Like, hey, can someone help me with this quest? The mob is just a little too dangerous for me. Like, if I play a priest, which I will in this new server, I need to be able to talk to people, and I can't do that, and I don't understand why. Just make it so that sub level 10s can speak in /say. Please, 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 please. All right. Yeah, people buff everyone. Yeah, so cool community. People were buffing me when I was playing if I didn't have certain buffs on me. Really cool. I really like the graphics. That's another point. I love the old school graphics of World of Warcraft. It also runs really well, and to me, video game graphics that I consider good include a high FPS count, because if I play at 30 FPS, I'm sorry, I don't think the game looks good, because it kind of breaks my immersion. Here, I like the lower polygon things. I like the detailed, but really old school enemies. Everything has color, everything has character. The cartoony style is very endearing, and it's something I've loved about World of Warcraft even long before I was able to play it. And granted, I've only played like 3 or 4 hours. I'm still level like 6, but I've been enjoying it. So yeah, there's the new server that I'm going to be playing. Again, I'm going to be playing a human priest. I'm going to see how that goes, but I'm going to try to level another character to level 10, and I hope that's going to allow me to speak on this new character. If not, it's gonna be a long couple first hours to get to level 10 with the priest. So that's what I want to do. And if you've played Total WoW, if you've played Retail WoW, if you've played Classic WoW, let me know what you've done, or let me know how you've enjoyed it in the comments, in the YouTube comment section. If you have any stories for World of Warcraft, for things you did with a guild or with a group, please write it in the comments. I'd love to know what that was, because I love to hear about stories of things that happen in an MMO community, in an MMO game. That's kind of why I love MMOs so much. And to conclude, playing Total WoW has really made me understand what I love about certain aspects of video games that I love. And here, the fact that you have to engage with the world, mobs can kill you, you don't have quest objectives pointed out to you exactly. And even with the quest add-ons, it's just vague enough where you have to figure out things that you need to do. And if you don't have add-ons, you're gonna have to really engage with the game, because you're not gonna know where things are if you don't read the things that quest givers give you. And so if you kind of want to play a game where it's going to be a lot slower, especially if you don't download add-ons that tell you where everything is, that's going to be a lot slower. You're going to have to engage with game. You're probably going to have to engage with other people to be able to complete certain quests, because it's pretty hard. Then you'd probably like TurtleWOW, and I recommend that you download it. All right, thank you for listening.